life, cell division. It's really a tale of two very different processes. One is like a perfect copier, and the other, well, it's more of a creative artist. Let's get right into it. You ever get a paper cut and just a few days later it's gone? Or have you ever stopped to think about the fact that you, this incredibly complex person, started out as just one single cell? How does that even happen?
Well, the answer to both those questions is cell division. It's the engine that powers growth, heals our wounds, and even creates new life. And believe it or not, it is happening inside you by the billions right this second. So let's meet the first major player in this story.
First up, we've got mitosis. And honestly, the best way to think about this one is as the body's ultimate photocopier. Its job is to make perfect, exact duplicates over and over again. And it is incredibly good at its job.
The whole process is pretty straightforward. One cell, the parent cell, splits right down the middle to become two new daughter cells. And the keyword here is identical. They are perfect genetic clones of the original. So what's this copy machine for? Well, three main things. First, growth. It's how we go from being a baby to an adult. Second, repair. It's the reason that paper cut heals. Mitosis churns out new skin cells to patch the hole. And third, for single-celled organisms like bacteria, it's just how they reproduce. Simple, powerful, and absolutely essential.
Now, to make sure each new cell gets a perfect copy of the DNA, the cell has to organize its chromosomes. And it does this in a really cool way. It sends out these tiny protein threads, almost like little fishing lines, to grab onto the chromosomes and pull them into place.
And this leads to a really critical moment called metaphase. All the chromosomes line up perfectly, right in the center of the cell. It seriously looks like two opposing football teams right at the line of scrimmage, ready for the snap. This perfect lineup is the only way to guarantee a fair split.
So to quickly recap the whole copy process. First, the cell doubles all its DNA. Second, those chromosomes do their football thing and line up in the middle. Third, the identical copies are pulled apart to opposite sides, and bam, the cell splits in two. One becomes two perfect copies. Job done.
Okay, but what if the goal isn't to make a perfect copy? What if the goal is to create something totally new? Well, for that, we need to meet our second character, meiosis. If mitosis is the copier, meiosis is the remix artist.
You see, meiosis has a very specific, very important job making reproductive cells. We're talking about sperm and eggs. This is the process that makes sexual reproduction possible. And its mission is the total opposite of mitosis. It wants to create cells that are genetically unique, and this part is crucial, each with only half the amount of DNA as the original cell. You know how you get half your genes from your mom and half from your dad? Well, meiosis is exactly how that's possible.
So how does this remix actually happen? It's a two-part dance. The cell copies its DNA, just like in mitosis, and then it divides. But then it does something wild. It divides a second time, but without copying the DNA again. This double division shuffles everything up and results in four unique cells, each with just half the genetic playbook.
Okay, so we have our copier and our remixer. Let's put them side by side and really lock in the key differences. This is where you can see just how different their jobs are.
I mean, look at this. It's night and day, right? Mitosis is for growing and healing, while meiosis is all about reproduction. Mitosis divides just once to make two identical cells, keeping the chromosome number the same. Meiosis, it divides twice to create four completely different cells, and it cuts the chromosome number in half. But these processes are incredibly complex, and for all their precision, sometimes things go wrong. A tiny mistake, a little typo in this cellular copy machine can have absolutely massive consequences.
And this brings us to cancer, because at its very core, that's what cancer is. It's mitosis gone haywire. The cell's off switch breaks, and it just starts copying itself over and over and over again, completely out of control.
Okay, but let's end on a much happier and frankly, much more beautiful note. Let's talk about the incredible outcome of all that genetic remixing we see in meiosis.
Meiosis is the engine of diversity. During the process, the chromosomes actually fill